Hi everyone, this is Dennis Brown. I just wanted to shoot this quick video to share with you my thoughts on a few of my favorite quotes from this blog post. So I don't want to take up a lot of your time, but I do want to dive into a few of these quotes. My favorite are the first four. That's why I put them at the top. Number one is this: the best way to predict the future is to create it, by Peter Drucker. You know, I realized back in the early 90s when I started my first job out of college that I didn't want to work for corporate America. I didn't want to be beholden to somebody for my paycheck. I didn't want somebody else to determine my worth or my value. And so I went out, started my first business. And when I first started, I was afraid. I was scared. You know, it was a scary proposition. But I look back on that and I don't regret any of the moves that I made. You know, it's been an up and down road, but we've been fortunate to make millions of dollars, make tons of friends, provide huge value for our customers, and and pursue and live a life that most people can only dream of from a lifestyle perspective. So, if you're going to be one of those people that is either going to create your own future or you're going to let somebody else create it for you, and that's what this reminds me of. Number two is this is a great quote, and I really love this quote. 20 years from now, you'll be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the ones you did. So throw off the bowlines, sail away from safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, and discover, by Mark Twain. I love this quote, and the reason why is this. 20 years from now, if you're looking back and you're on your deathbed, you're going to have more regret for the things you didn't do, the passions and ideas and things you didn't do, than the ones you did. And what that tells me is this: don't let the fear of failure hold you back from pursuing your dreams. I don't care what they are. Maybe you want to learn how to skydive. Maybe you want to learn how to speak a foreign language. Maybe you want to travel around the world. Maybe you want to have a family. Maybe you want to start a business. Maybe you want to become a successful freight broker or freight agent. Whatever those dreams are that you have right now, or that you've had in the past that you didn't pursue because you were afraid of failure, remember something. When you're looking back 20 or 30 years from now and you're on your deathbed, you're never going to regret the things you did and tried, even if you failed, as opposed to the things that you didn't do. Okay, so just remember that. That's what that reminds me of. So pursue your passions while you can, because we've all got a finite amount of time, and at some point, we'll expire and we'll never have the opportunity to pursue those dreams. So never let go of those. Number three is, as long as you're going to be thinking, think big. That's by Donald Trump. And this reminds me back to, to the early days when I started my logistics company. One of my first goals in that business was to have my company ranked on the Inc. 500 fastest growing company list. I remember I sat down, I had looked at the Inc. 500. There were some freight brokerages on there, even a couple that I knew of who they were and knew of them. And I sat down and I wrote a press release. And I wrote that press release, and what it said was it was announcing Logistic Dynamics, my brokerage, as one of the fastest growing privately held companies in America on the Inc. 500. And I remember, sitting there and crafting it and writing it. And I remember setting that goal. And the great part about it, I remember getting the letter. I think it was about 4 years later. I got the letter from Inc. magazine that we had been ranked as the 298th fastest growing company. Now that was a big goal, right? We were a startup. We were barely doing any revenue. We hadn't even become profitable yet. I was just really learning the business and what we were doing. And so thinking big is huge. And I can tell you, in the freight industry, there's a big opportunity for both freight brokers and agents. Top brokerages are doing hundreds of millions, billion-dollar plus companies. And top agents are making a ton of money. I mean, it's not uncommon for agents to make over $100,000 a year working from home. I'll tell you a quick story. I had an agent that started with my company several years ago, who I'd become friends with, and who contacted me over the holidays to wish me well. And he wanted to thank me, for helping him get started as an agent. He was a very sharp guy. He knew the business, had been a broker before, but was kind of down on his luck. He was struggling. He was struggling to pay his mortgage. He was struggling to pay his bills. And he called me up and he said, listen, did you hear the news? And I said, what? He goes, I made $100,000 in commission in December. And it blew my mind because that was awesome. I mean, I was so happy for him. You know, he's earned every dollar of it. Fantastic guy. But I just want you to understand, think big, because there's a ton of opportunity out there in the industry. You know, so don't just think small. Make sure you think big. Number 4 is entrepreneurship is living a few years of your life like most people won't, so you can live the rest of your life like most people can't. And I love that, because the reality is this: most people are on what I call the 40-40-40 plan, right? They're going to work 40 hours a week for 40 years, and they're going to try to retire on 40% of what they made while they were working, as if 40% was going to cover their bills when 100% wasn't enough to get them to where they wanted to go anyway, right? But that's what most people are on. And so, you know, being an entrepreneur means you take a little bit of risk, but what happens is you work hard for 5 or 10 or 15 years, maybe you even work for 20 years, and you build up that business, and now you own that asset. Along the way, you make a great income. You know, it's not uncommon for small business owners to make 6 figures, particularly agents or brokers, and you make a great income along the way. But here's the great part: at the end of the day, you own that asset. You can sell it, you can pass it on to your family, you could sell it to an employee. There's a whole variety of things you can do. You could hire somebody to run it and just keep the profit and pay them to run the business, and you can keep the profit. So there's a lot of things you can do. And so that's what that quote reminds me of. So I don't want to make this video too long, but I did want to share, you know, some of my thoughts on the favorite quotes. So if you guys are considering becoming a freight broker or freight agent, you know, you really need to take a close look at getting enrolled in Freight Broker Bootcamp. You know, just go to www.freightbrokerbootcamp.com, check it out. And, you know, remember, we offer a 60-day money-back guarantee, you know, 100% money-back guarantee. So we're putting you in a riskless situation. The total cost is $98 one time. There's no recurring fees. So check it out. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the blog post. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you soon.